All right, Ken, it's been real. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and leave, and I'll see you later, man. I'll see you.
Hey, mother.
Not another retro channel.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kenn Scott. I portrayed Raphael in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies from the 1990s. It was the culmination of my dream. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be an action hero in the movies, and my first job out of college was being a ninja. Cowabunga, dudes. For me, my favorite toy growing up when I was a kid was G.I. Joe. Today, the G.I. Joes, I think, are 4 or 5 inches tall. When I was a kid, they were 12 inches tall. They had kung fu grip. You could buy all sorts of different outfits and weapons and all sorts of accessories to go with them. I had the G.I. Joe Adventure of the Golden Idol with a helicopter and a king cobra and all that kind of stuff. I love G.I. Joe, so much so that when I grew up, I wanted to be in the Army too. G.I. Joe rocks. You know, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be an action hero in the movies. I loved Bruce Lee and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So I did everything I could to study filmmaking, and this was before the internet, so you had to kind of figure it out for yourself. If you were lucky, you could see some behind-the-scenes stuff on TV. So I studied acting, I tried to learn to ride motorcycles and horses, just anything that I thought would help me be an action hero. Even went to school and got a degree in filmmaking. Then I got really lucky. In North Carolina, where I grew up, just about 4 hours from where I lived, they built a movie studio. Dino De Laurentiis, the guy that produced Flash Gordon with Sam Jones, Raw Deal with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I used to go down there during my summers in college and try to see what I could do to break into the movie business. I worked as an extra. I used to try to drive around the city and try and find film sets that were shooting, and I just hang out on the sidelines and watch them. Well, then one day, as I'm hanging out down in Wilmington looking for film sets, I decided I was going to try to figure out how to get into the movie studio, because I thought somewhere in there was, I don't know, my holy grail was waiting for me. So I dressed up like a Domino's pizza delivery guy, and I drove up to the security guard, and I was real nervous, and I said, "Hey, I've got this delivery for production." And the security guard kind of leaned down into my window. Man, I thought he was going to grab me. He just looked at me, looked at his clipboard, and then he said, "All right, everybody's on the back lot. Just follow this yellow line and drive down in there." So he opened the gate, and I got to drive right on past. I drove into the back lot thinking, man, this is awesome. Parked my car, put my jeans jacket on over my Pizza Hut delivery uniform, my Domino's pizza delivery uniform. And as I walked around the back, I walked onto the back lot and they were shooting an action movie. There was stunt guys doing a car chase and a gunfight and everything. It was awesome. So I kind of melded into the background a little bit, but I ended up talking to the people that were responsible for casting extras in the movie. Got to talking to them. They found out that I was a martial artist. They told me about this movie that was coming to North Carolina to shoot. They couldn't tell me what it was. It was a secret project, but it had martial arts involved. They asked me if I'd be interested in auditioning for that film. I said, of course I was. So I eventually left that set that day before I got caught. And then I kept calling those people all the time. Hey, is that martial arts movie here yet? Is it here yet? And they kept saying, no, not yet, no, not yet. Then one day I called and they said, oh, we got some bad news. The movie's going to shoot in Canada because of tax incentives. And I was like, no, man, that sucks. So I lost whatever opportunity that was. And I was like, all right, that's okay. I was planning to move to Los Angeles anyway to break into the movie business. And then I got a call. They said, Ken, the movie's come back. It's going to shoot here in North Carolina. And if you want to audition, you can. And the movie's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was like, heck yeah, I want to audition for that. So I drove the 4 hours from my house down to Wilmington. I went and auditioned. I did a martial arts routine for Pat Johnson, the famous stunt coordinator that worked on the original Karate Kid movies. And I actually got hired. But I got hired to be one of the foot soldiers. They hired a bunch of local martial artists to get beat up by the Ninja Turtles. Those were the Foot Soldiers, the Foot Clan, and they all got paid $75 a day, and they were called Special Abilities Extras. Well, I got to work my way being a foot soldier for a little while through all the rehearsals. I even got to be the fellow chucker that goes against Michelangelo in the famous scene inside April O'Neil's apartment. But then, early on in the shooting of the movie, they were shooting the scene where Casey Jones meets Raphael in Central Park. Casey Jones pulls out a cricket bat, and Raphael goes, "Cricket? You gotta know what a crumpet is to understand cricket." And he gets hit with that cricket bat, and he sails through the air and lands in a trash can. Well, in order to shoot that scene, they hung Raphael, the stunt guy, up by his feet and dropped him head first into a trash can. When he hit the bottom of that trash can, he actually ended up breaking his nose, and he couldn't wear the Ninja Turtle costume anymore after that. So the producers, the director, they were desperate to find somebody to replace that guy Raphael, because on a movie set, time is money. So they went to Pat Johnson, the stunt coordinator, and said, "We need a guy that can do Ninja Turtle level martial arts and be the right height to fit in this costume. You got anybody?" And Pat Johnson came to me and he said, "Ken, I got a big opportunity for you. If you can fit in the Raphael costume, you're gonna be the new Raphael." So I went to the creature shop, and they did everything they could to squeeze me into a Raphael suit, even pulling out turtle parts from other Ninja Turtles, Donatello's hands, Leonardo's legs, whatever it took to fit my frame. And ultimately, like Frankenstein, they put me all together, they put a Raphael head on me, and they said, "Well, congratulations, Ken, you're the new Raphael." And at that moment, my whole life changed. Yeah, a lot of people ask me a lot of questions about what was it like being a Ninja Turtle? How do you get that job? Was it hot in that suit? Having gone to Comic-Cons and meeting people all over the world after so many years, I really thought, wow, people are so engaged and interested in all these stories, but the only opportunity they really have to hear this stuff is meeting face to face at the cons. So I thought, man, what a great opportunity to write a book. And having seen other people who have been in movies, especially Ty Mock, who was in The Last Dragon, he wrote a book about how he became Ty Mock. And I was fascinated about that and how he got that job. So I opted to write a book. I wrote a book called Teenage Mutant Turtle, Becoming the Real Raphael. And it's basically the story of how I became Raphael, and then all behind the scenes stories of making the movies, what went right, what went wrong, and all the sort of laughter, tears, and sweat that we all went through to make the movies. Really, what was so great about writing this book was, at the time that I wrote the book, my father, who's no longer with us, he had terminal cancer at the time, and we started talking about his life, and he decided to undertake a project where he was going to write down all his memories back to his earliest memories as a kid. And he kind of challenged me to do the same thing. I started writing down all my memories of what I had as a kid, growing up, studying martial arts, and all of a sudden that list of memories led right into Ninja Turtles and how I got the job and making the movies. And once I had that list, I started figuring out how to expound on each one of those little memories that I had and turn it into a sentence and a paragraph. And next thing you know, I had 85,000 words, and it was enough to make a book out of it. So I took all the stories that I had from my life, all the Ninja Turtle stories, edited it down, and created this book. I've been real fortunate. It's been a hit with the fans. Everybody seems to enjoy it. There's a lot of stories people have never heard before that are only in this book. So I always tell people at cons, look, I'm not trying to sell you a book. I didn't write a book to make money. But if you're a Ninja Turtle fan and you really like those original movies, this book is essence, and in its essence, and I say this without trying to sound sort of like a big head, this is really my gift to the fans, because it's a lot of stories that will entertain you, educate you, and let you know what it was really like to bring the Turtles to the silver screen. If you're interested in this book, you can find it on Amazon. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Barnes & Noble. But there's also an Audible version. If you like to listen to ebooks, I actually tell all the stories and read the book myself, and it's available on iTunes and Audible from Amazon. After Ninja Turtles was done, I moved from North Carolina to Hollywood to pursue my dreams of being an action hero. And I was fortunate that my dreams came true. I actually got to play a human in some movies. I starred in a movie called Showdown, which was released all over the world. It was a big martial arts cult hit. As a matter of fact, cult Blu-ray DVDs have come out in both Germany, where it's called American Karate Tiger, and here in the United States. I pursued filmmaking for a while as an actor, and then I moved behind the scenes and became a writer and producer-director. Directed a lot of stuff for the History Channel, Discovery Channel, even got to direct some training films for the CIA. And then moving on from there, I used my creativity to move into advertising and marketing. So now I get to make television commercials, radio commercials, all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that I really love most is, based on the fact that I was a Ninja Turtle, it's allowed me to travel all over the world meeting people. One of the most rewarding things is it allows me to travel all over the world and use my whatever level of celebrity I have to raise money for causes that I believe in. A lot of children's charities, a lot of first responders charities, Sea Turtle Conservancy. But it also allows me to go to Comic-Cons and travel around the world and meet fans. And meeting Ninja Turtle fans is one of the most awesome experiences you can have in your life. Because what happens is when you meet fans, you're meeting people that the Ninja Turtles have meant so much to in their whole lives. And when they sit at that table across from you, oftentimes it's the first opportunity they've had to meet a real person that's associated with this franchise that's meant so much to their lives. And the emotion that comes out of these people, the tears that you see, the hugs that they want, what they're willing to share, and you can see what it means to them. It's really a moving and beautiful experience for me and all my castmates. And we have such a great time doing that, and such a beautiful set of experiences meeting people, that we decided to really take that show on the road and try to spread that love as much as possible. So we started a thing called Turtle Shell-a-bration. And Shell-a-bration is a featured attraction at big Comic-Cons all over the country and the world. And what we've done is we've gathered the entire cast from the original films. We've got Judith Hoag, who was April O'Neil. We've got Francois Chow, who's the Shredder. We've got Raphael. We've got Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, all different actors from the cast coming out to meet fans. We've got a host. We've got games and prizes that we do. We have an exceptionally incredible time. What we like to say, Shell-a-bration is a radically awesome time. We travel to Comic-Cons, we have pizza parties, we do movie screenings, and we just get a chance to interact with the fans who love those movies, and we get to have a time with them like nobody's ever had before. It's really one big Ninja Turtle party, and if you're a fan of Ninja Turtles, and especially the movies, if you can hit Shell-a-bration, if it's at a con near you, even if it's not near you, I encourage you to get in your turtle van and drive to Shell-a-bration. The next one we've got coming up is at Retro Expo, which is in the DFW area in Texas. It's September 16th and 17th at the Allen Convention Center in Allen, Texas, and it's going to be awesome. If you've got the opportunity to come out to Retro Expo in the DFW area, September 16th, 17th, I highly encourage you to come on out. If not, check it out at turtleshell-a-bration.com, and there's going to be a list of where you can check out where the next Shell-a-bration is going to be. It is a radically awesome time. You know, a lot of people ask me if I ever saved anything from the movies, and the answer is yes. One of the really cool things, people always ask you, oh, did you walk away with a turtle costume? Well, the turtle costumes themselves were about $250,000 per turtle suit, so they were pretty well protected. But the suits themselves were made out of foam latex, and it was a very delicate sort of chemical balance that made these things. And what's happened over time is they all sort of just decomposed and disintegrated, so they don't really exist anymore. I think there's probably one out there that Kevin Eastman had. It had disintegrated quite a bit, but then somebody sort of plasticized it or sprayed it with some kind of varnish or something, and they preserved it as it is. I think you can find pictures of it on the internet. It almost looks like a turtle zombie. I actually walked away with a pair of turtle hands, which were cool, 3-fingered hands. And then one day when I went into my attic to go get them out of the box, I opened the box and they just turned into a pile of dust. There was nothing left. So Unfortunately, I don't have any turtle costumes left, but I did save some pretty cool stuff from the movie. One of the things that I really prize the most is I have this original script from the movie. This is an original script and it's an original format, these original brads. And usually a movie script is about 110, 120 pages long. It's about 1 page for every minute. This script is actually about 200 and something pages long because not only does it have the script on one side of it, but it's got a complete storyboard on every single page of what's happening in the movie. So it's almost like a complete original graphic novel of the film. It's pretty cool. So as you go through here, you can find very specific scenes that match up and figure out, oh, they actually went through and made each shot in the film look exactly like the storyboard. For instance, here's the subway scene in the beginning of the movie where Raphael rescues Judith Hoag as April O'Neil, which was one of my favorite fight scenes in the movie. So I've got this original script, and every once in a while I like to take a look through it and take a look at all the different pictures and see how we use this stuff. But it's so delicate, I try not to mess with it too much because eventually it's going to fall apart. My hope is if I can find somebody that knows how to treat it really well, it's me. I'm going to dismantle it, copy it, and make some copies that I can share with fans as well out there. What was so great about this was the reason I wanted this script, or the reason I had this script, is when we were working with the foot soldiers, Pat Johnson, who was the stunt coordinator on the film, just like all the other department heads, has a copy of the script. But as we were choreographing the fight scene, Pat would go through the script and find the exact pictures of the script itself that we were working on, and he would start to piece the fight together to match exactly what was in the storyboard. So he would start with the storyboard, and then we would choreograph our fights around that to either start or end up exactly like the drawings were in the script. What was so neat about this was, because I started my job on the first Ninja Turtle movies just as one of the foot soldiers, I wasn't given a script. Those were only for important people in the movie. But one day, as I was in the office filling out some paperwork, I was leaving the office and I saw a stack of scripts sitting right by the door. So I kind of looked around to see if anybody was looking, and I just peeled one off the pile and took it with me, and then took it home and read it, and that was the first time I really knew what was going on in the movies. This is that script right here. Also from the original movie, one of the things I walked away with was Raphael's size. And I walked away with a pair of metal size, the original ones. They were given to me as a gift by the prop makers. And so what I've got here, these are actually replicas. These are made from a mold of those original size, but you can see the actual original wrapping of the leather, everything. These are the exact size. This is it. So these are the kind of size we used for the stunt fighting in the movie, made out of fiberglass so nobody would really get hurt with the metal size. So I like to bring these to cons with me sometimes. People pose for pictures and all that kind of stuff. But I had a collector once who's really into the movies and has a great collection of movie props, and we got together one time and he made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and now he has the original metal size and I've got the replicas. Also from the original movie, some of the things that I walked away with that I really think are pretty cool is I don't know too many other people that have ever seen one of these, but this is actually a watch that was given to all the various crew members that had worked on the film. It's not a very expensive watch, it's just a little digital watch, but it's got Raphael on it. Each one of the turtles got one of their own, and you just flip it up and it says Production Team 1989 on it. So I've really never seen any one of these around, so I don't know how many of these still exist today, but I've done a good job of hanging on to mine. I also, from the original movie, got, when they were doing promotions, back in the day when movies used to produce a lot of stuff and swag that they would give away, they produced big buttons like this. And this is one of the original buttons from the original movie. And I got this at the cast and crew screening and have saved it to this day. So it's a pretty cool piece of my collection. And then the other thing is, as a crew member, you get to walk away with a crew jacket. And this one was really impressive because of the embroidery that they put on the back of the jacket. There's a lot of colors going on here, and every color costs a lot of money. So I used to walk around wearing this thing with pride. It's a little bit worn out from wearing it so much, but it's an awesome, awesome memento from the movie. Oh, there's one other thing that I got from the movie that I think is pretty cool. While we were on the set, one of the things that was so awesome about being on that set was all the really cool people you got to meet. And by cool, I mean like famous and well-known people. One was Jim Henson. I got to meet Jim Henson on the movie. And that was just, for me, an amazing experience. Because growing up, I grew up on Sesame Street. I love The Muppet Show. I'm a big fan of Grover and Ernie. And that guy that throws fish. So I love the Muppets. So when Jim Henson came walking out and introduced himself and shook hands and we got a chance to talk to him, that was just an incredible experience. But of course, some of the most well-known people that came to the set for us were Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, the creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this was early on. You're talking only 4 or 5 years after they created the Turtles. They had success with the comic, and certainly the cartoon was working out well, but the movie hadn't come out yet. So this incredible explosion of Ninja Turtledom didn't happen like the movie was going to set off later. And so one of the things the guys brought to the set is they brought a stack of comic books, original Ninja Turtle comics. I was fortunate that in meeting those guys, I got one of the comics, and all the creators originally signed it. Peter Laird, Kevin Eastman, Kim Dawson, one of the original producers on the film. So this is something that I've cherished to this day. I keep it wrapped in my comic plastic. I should probably put it in one of those hard shell cases, but I'm not worried about preserving it for sale or anything like that. It's just something that's really special to me and an important remembrance of making those movies and meeting those guys.
All right, Ken, thank you so much for coming on the channel and talking, giving us a little more information about yourself, a little more light into what it took to do the TMNT movie, your point of view, all of that. So we're going to give you guys a chance to win this signed Raphael figure by Kenn Scott, Raphael himself. So all that you have to do, like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave in the comment down below who is your favorite Ninja Turtle. Ken's probably going to say it's him. 1,000 likes, we will draw the winner for this Kenn Scott signed Raph. All right, Ken, it's been real. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and leave, and I'll see you later, man. I'll see you.
Hey, mother.
Okay, you need it back. Take it back.
Hey everybody, don't forget September 16th and 17th, Shell-a-bration at Retro Expo in Allen, Texas, right in DFW area. Hope to see you there. It's going to be a radically awesome time. Cowabunga, everybody.